SC with Briscoe and Eves. Pretty good way to wrap up your weekend if you ask me, but I'm Eve, so I'm biased.
Well, I'm Briscoe, and I'm also biased. I'll take 5 more of those.
Seriously.
How many lead changes? How many times did they go back and forth in that close of a game? Let's go. The Sun take that Game 1 win on the road in Minnesota. They are 2-2 in best-of-5 series when winning the first game. They did, however, lose in 4 games in the same round last season after they beat the Liberty in the opener. This win, of course, puts Connecticut 1 step closer to making the WNBA finals. They've made 6 straight semis, but they've only made the finals twice in that span. They are 1 and 3 franchises actually to never raise a banner in the WNBA. Leading the way, Alyssa Thomas. You're going to hear from her in a second. She's the distributor. She added 9 assists tonight. That gives her 35 so far this postseason. That is the most assists for the player's first 3 games of a postseason in WNBA history.
Well, what a setup for Alyssa Thomas to join us here on SportsCenter. One of 4 players in double digits for that Sun victory. What was the key to the matchup here, Alyssa, especially from a defensive standpoint? You guys held them to just 8 points in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the defense. They were playing amazing. Fee's been playing amazing in the first round. And for us, it really came down to getting stops and executing on the offensive end down the stretch.
You just heard the stat we just gave, about 35 assists for you through the first 3 games of the playoffs. But how about this? You were 1 assist shy of a triple-double tonight, 17, 10, and 9. How much responsibility are you putting on yourself to miss everything for your team right now?
Yeah, I'm one of the leaders of this team. I've been here my whole career, and nothing changes. We're in the pursuit of a championship, and when you start on the road like this, Game 1 is important, especially on the road, and it started with me today.
Well, I got to ask about your last bucket of the game. I mean, defense on both sides was kind of tight there towards the end. Looked like the play was falling apart, and all of a sudden you knocked down a big jumper. Take us through those final seconds of that particular play.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't have a play. More so, we're kind of chaotic, and I just liked the matchup that I had on me. I just scored the previous possession, and when I saw my opening, I took the shot.
All right, so it's a best-of-5 series. You take Game 1, but you do it on the road. You've been around basketball for a long time, obviously. Give us an indication, the value from a player's perspective of going on the road to get that W for the first win in the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. We always talk about you need to at least get 1, and Game 1 is the most important. After Game 2, you get to go home and have 2 on your home court. So getting 1 is important. You would like to get 2, but can't always be stingy. So getting that first one is really important for us.
Well, you can't get 2 if you don't get the first one. So Game 1 is in the books on the Sun side. We'll see what happens in Game 2. Alyssa Thomas joining us here on SportsCenter. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
From Melissa to Andraya Carter, who's back with us. This game went back and forth more than a dozen times throughout the course of the game, and the Lynx had a chance to tie it there at the end with that 3. What did you see as that play unfolded?
Well, Alyssa Thomas said you can't always be stingy in regards to the series, but let me tell you, this Connecticut Sun defense is always stingy. That is what they are known for. They are the stingiest defense. And on this play, they're stingy, taking away every opportunity from Minnesota. They know they're looking for a 3. Look at DeWanna Bonner. High hands. She switched on to Napheesa Collier to use her length. They deny. They're physical. They're aggressive. They stay with you defensively, and that is exactly what they did. They did it all night long, but to do it on this possession when they absolutely needed it, it was easy for them because that's what they always do. They hang their hat on their defense. They did it all night, but especially in that moment, it won them the game.
It wasn't just that moment. It was also the quarter, too. They held them to just 8 points.
Yes.
When you look at this win as a whole, when you factor in the other 3 quarters as well, what is something else that you take away?
Well, we have to start with who you just interviewed in Alyssa Thomas, because she really is the engine. That has been her nickname for this team. Things start and finish with the play of Alyssa Thomas, and she is a triple-double machine. When you talk about leading the league by a long shot in playoff triple-doubles, Alyssa Thomas gets it done. She can shoot the basketball in that mid-range. She has perfected that little one-arm shot. Mind you, she's playing with 2 torn labrums, so we have to keep that as a factor.
Ouch.
But the way she finds her teammates, her toughness on defense, she can guard multiple positions. With Alyssa Thomas, she is so dynamic, so strong, and so skilled, and she never gets tired. But a second key when it comes to this win, there have been games for Connecticut where Alyssa Thomas almost has a triple-double. DeWanna Bonner struggles from the field, and it's not enough. They still don't get the win. In a game like tonight, with the addition of Marina Mabrey, DeWanna Bonner can struggle scoring, and Marina makes up for that scoring. That's why Marina Mabrey has been the biggest trade this WNBA season. You almost get a triple-double from Alyssa Thomas. DeJounte Carrington plays well, 13 points, but DeWanna Bonner struggles from the field. You still keep DeWanna on the floor because she gives you so much else defensively and so much with experience. And you've got Marina, 6 threes on a Connecticut Sun team that struggles to find the basket from beyond the arc. She plays with a chip on her shoulder. She's confident when it comes to offensive scoring, and she's a dog on defense. The addition of Marina and her 20 points tonight is definitely what helped Connecticut.
What else did they do? Because obviously we've seen Afisa Collier be so good in these playoffs, averaging like north of 40 points. Tonight, just shy of 20. What did they do to make that happen?
Well, they're just physical, because the thing about Afisa Collier is she is so phenomenal, but her teammates also do a great job finding her, right? They get her on the move, they get her when she's cutting, they get her in perfect position, but it's really hard to execute offensively when you're being pushed out, right? So they're pushing Minnesota away from the three-point line. Now it's harder for Minnesota to even run their offense. They're denying the ball reversal, so Minnesota can't get into their action. So you limit Afisa Collier by actually blowing up all the other positions on the floor, so Minnesota can't execute offensively as a whole.
So what can they do now in game 2 to get the win with another chance at home here?
Yeah, the biggest thing for Minnesota, well, one, they struggled from beyond the arc. I mean, Kayla McBride, Alana Smith, they are very capable three-point shooters. They struggled. Minnesota averaged just under 10 threes a game in the regular season. Minnesota only hit 5 threes in this game. So in a game where you lose by 3, you start to think, oh my goodness, if we just hit one more 3, or even 2 more threes, it would have been a big difference.
You know?
They struggled from beyond the arc, but a lot of that came because they weren't patient offensively. They let Connecticut dictate their offense. So when the defense is dictating the offense, you want it to be the other way around. When you're on offense, you want to beat the defensive rotation. You want the defense to always be catching up to you. That's what Minnesota usually does, but Connecticut's defense has been their kryptonite this season.
All right, so game 2 is on Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN2. This was game 2 of this day. What about the other one, Eves? Don't go away because we need you on that.
I'm here.
Well, how about this for a semifinal matchup? A rematch of last year's WNBA Finals. Liberty looking for revenge. Aces on the hunt for a three-peat. And guess who?
Able to be so dominant.
Well, I love the question when you say why, because the one answer that we didn't show, so post-game, Holly Rowe asked Stewie kind of how she was able to get this done or what was motivating her, and she brought up last season. She said she owed those fans something more than what she did last season. You have to remember, in Game 4 of the WNBA Finals against Vegas, it was at home. Breanna Stewart struggled. She was 3 of 17 from the field. She brought that up tonight after she had a 30-piece. It was efficient. They got her on the move. They being the New York Liberty. Well, the Aces got a lot of her as well. But the way she was able to play with the ball on the perimeter, go off of screens, hit mid-range jumpers, she scored from all around the court, and their offense flowed through Breanna Stewart. And she had a chip on her shoulder, and it showed.
Speaking of chips on shoulders, I think Kelsey Plum wears hers very well. Also, you can't ignore Spike. You got to engage him, and no one can do it better than her. Besides all of that and the way that she in some ways carried the Aces, what else stood out to you about the way she performed in this one?
Well, one of the biggest things when it comes to Kelsey Plum is she was decisive and she made really quick decisions. And that's what Kelsey Plum does. She is extremely quick, she is shifty, and she is confident. And what I noticed is New York was loading up defensively. They were sending multiple to the ball. They had a lot of players coming over from the help side, and they were crowding the basketball. And what you have to do when that happens is make quick reads and quick decisions. So as you're watching these highlights, what you don't see is how decisive Kelsey Plum was. And if you're the Las Vegas Aces, all of them need to play that way, because at times they're playing 4-on-5. When they're on offense and New York is on defense, sometimes it's almost like New York has a rover. They just have someone trying to crowd their space. So the Aces have to make quick decisions to score more efficiently the way Kelsey did it, but everybody has to play that way.
So how many times this season have we heard A'ja Wilson talk about her teammates and how important her teammates are to her? We have to fit check this Aces team for how they arrived before this game. Every last player to the T showed up wearing, where is it? There we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
like every last one.
This was awesome. And actually, what you don't know, they're supporting 2 of their teammates. So this is actually their teammate, Tiffany Hayes. This is Tiffany Hayes' clothing line. So they're wearing one teammate's clothing line, and they're wearing another teammate's jersey. Which is like the epitome
of what they're trying to do.
Yes.
And then, of course, A'ja showed up doing what she has done so beautifully just wearing the white t-shirt and the sweats, and like that's her thing, and she's dominant and can make it work, and so please, I have more of that.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Well, the thing is, Asia, when she wears that white tee, it's like she's locked in. She's not worried about anything else. And then, yeah, all her teammates supporting her. That's how they have to be on the basketball court. Asia Wilson, efficient, clean, not worried about anything else, and then all her teammates there to provide support. They're going to need that in game 2.
Have ever met Shedeur Sanders and the Buffs taking on UCF? Cam Newton, Travis Hunter were chopping it up pre-game.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just to what you said, yes,
see.
I do agree that they are a better football team this year, and they were running the football today, 128 yards rushing. What impresses me the most about Colorado right now, as you look at them, that's back-to-back games that were toss-ups that we didn't know if they were going to win. They were a double-digit underdog coming into this game.
Yeah.
That's another game, TCU last year, that they've won as double-digit underdogs, and you don't see that often from teams in the college football season. So right now, Colorado has 4 wins. The goal is what? Bowl game.
Right.
They have 7 games left. If you can at least give me 2 out of those 7, then we're going
like their
bowling.
chances.
We're going bowling, right? Next game is Kansas State. After that is Arizona. Kansas State, I like Kansas State winning that.
Yeah.
Tough one to win.
Yeah,
but I
we'll see.
like Arizona. After that, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, then Utah. Then they got Kansas and Oklahoma State to close out the season. So I think they have a chance here to at least win 2 out of those last games.
All right, so the question I think here is, Travis Hunter's going to be in New York, right? I don't think there's really any debate about that.
I mean, if he's not in New York, I'm not watching.
And that I think a lot of people are going to say that because he, quite frankly, is doing things that we have never seen done in college football before. We have seen them tried many times, but the consistency with which he is playing both sides and the efficiency with which he is playing both sides is
service to the game if what we think is the best athlete in college football is not present that celebrates the best athlete in college football, you know? And I don't really care if Colorado loses every football game for the rest of the season.
Yep.
If he continues to do what he did today 4 or 5 more times this season with interceptions, with big clutch catches, with touchdowns, I feel like he has to be present for it.
And here's the reason why I believe he has to be present for it, because every single Heisman has one specific characteristic that separates them from everybody else in the country. They make the entire team better.
Yes.
Right?
Wonderful game. Wonderful game. Utmost respect for Coach Malzahn. I mean, he is keeps me going, keeps me on my toes. What he's accomplished and what he's brought to college football is phenomenal. And the way he started, things he's gone through, it just inspires me tremendously. And to be on the same darn field with one of the guys that I took my son to one of his camps and was being recruited by, that offered him, and has been just straight up 100 his whole entire career, and I got love for him. But to be on the opposing side coaching against him was historic for me, and I'm thankful that I got that opportunity, and I'm thankful just to be on the same field. Football-wise, it's one of the first times that we came out and played a collective game, offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. With Mata hitting that field goal right before the half was tremendous. Just even the
Give me a platform for me to display my abilities. You know, that's all you can ask for as a dad, is always just to be there and, you know, just have support and everything like that. But he set the stage. He did everything he was supposed to do. Now it's time for me to walk in my own path, walk in my own journey. And that's what you see game in and game out. Every game is legendary.
I saw you before the game, myself and Cam Newton marched you. Cam was damn near running at you. And I saw an attention to detail, focus that I haven't seen in a very long time in any teammate and any athlete. What is that? Where do you get that from? Knowing you got all this stuff going on, all these stars and celebrities coming at you. How do you stay focused like that?
By remembering that you was just an HBCU kid that couldn't do it on the Power 5 level. That's really what it was. I don't forget anything. I don't forget what anybody ever said. And personally, I'm not one to make friends or feel like just because success is going on now I'm going to forgive everybody. Like, nah, whatever you said at any point in time, I'm not really a forgiving type. So that's how I am. Dad's older, so he's more of he's more forgiving, and he always tell me be a little bit that way. But I just
So there was smoke between camps.
nah, I wasn't talking about. I'm talking about overall. Like with the question you asked, that's overall. Like how I'm so laser focused and all the distractions and everything. It's just I just don't pay attention to really the cameras and everything because all that stuff there. But I always remember I was just an HBCU kid that couldn't do it at a Power 5 level.
Cameron, last year's defense was a huge point of discussion